While the heat is on around here politically, we got to remember there's some fun things to do, and spring is sprung in Pawtucket. Great to have you in. I am Dan Yorke, and welcome to my State of Mind. Mike Tamburro, the president of the Pawtucket Red Sox, is my guest tonight, and thank goodness. Mike's an easy interview because he's so effusive and excited about his product, and why wouldn't he be? It's the best family dollar entertainment value we have in southern New England, always has been and probably always will be. And of course, there's some pretty good baseball that's going on, so we'll talk some shop with the PawSox big boss a little bit later on. But of course, alas, we have things going on in our world that we need to attend to. And as I turn to the rundown, I noticed that for the second time in 2 weeks, this particular monitor is not on. So what we shall do is, here's what we're going to do this time. You're going to be able to figure that out. Jess is under the camera. Jess, wave to the camera. Wave to the camera. There you go. This is not very high-tech nor professional, but guess what? These things happen when you're doing live television. In the meantime, while I wait for that monitor to come on, I will come over and I will cheat, and I will go back and forth. Investigation evolving. You know what we'll do? Hey, there we are. Everybody's good. Thank you very much. There'll be a meeting after the show. Investigation evolving. Yes, the heat on in Providence City Hall. Calling all businesses. That's what the speaker seems to be doing. We followed this 2 nights ago, and it's not getting any better for some parents on the east side. And then, of course, we've got a new Fox poll. It should be question mark, fibbing president? I don't know. And Holy Thursday, because Holy Week has officially begun. I would consider that a stutter step start to this television program tonight, but it's Holy Week, and so I shall bless us all. Let us move on and elaborate on some of these things we've got going on. The investigation is evolving. Once again, the Target 12 team is on its game. City records subpoenaed on Gordon Fox, the House Speaker. Yikes. Now they're looking for information out of Providence City Hall. Here's what Dan McGowan on our online team wrote amongst the things in his story. A spokesperson for the city told Target 12 federal investigators on Wednesday subpoenaed city documents related to Gordon Fox, but declined to say what records were requested. He said the city is fully cooperating with law enforcement officials. Well, I bet you they are. Now, this could be something that leads to this mayor's office, the last mayor's office, or it could be something very simple as, you know what, Gordon Fox made money via and through City Hall. You know, in the past, he's been on the Liquor License Board, and of course, he has been a closing lawyer doing mortgages for the Providence Economic Development Partnership. I'm sure they're just trying to touch all the bases on the earnings that Gordon Fox has accumulated. That's at least part of it, but now you've got a multi-platform discussion here, right? They go to the State House and looking at campaign finance records. Tim already broke that story, Tim White, earlier this week. And now you've got the situation where you know that Providence City Hall is being peeled back, making everybody uncomfortable, no doubt. You know what the side note on all this is? There's a Providence Journal story. We don't have a headline for it, but I just wanted to mention this. There's a salary that Gordon Fox keeps taking. Remember, he gets double when he's a speaker. He gets double what everybody else gets. So he gets $28,000, $29,000. He took a 50% pay cut when he went down just to elected status. But it's been pretty much known and reported that he hasn't showed up for work in a month since the heat came on. He's got his health insurance policy and his part-time salary. And my question to his constituents is, do you demand that he goes to work and casts a vote and lobbies on your behalf and do it, or do you just want him to sit it out and take a free ride through the end of the year? I don't know what other industry or job you can pull that off. I'm not showing up because I'm uncomfortable about the way things are going. Oh, okay, well then you're suspended and or you're let go, or guess what, that's it for you, give me the keys. In politics, it's just like, yeah, well, you know, whatever. Strange, isn't it? Next item. Calling all businesses. This is the Speaker of the House who got some attention in the news from his Chamber of Commerce visit yesterday. The Journal headline looks like this. There's the Speaker. Get involved, he says to the businesses. Get involved, get involved. Now look, you know, I think that's a good message. I think Dick Mattiello is correct. I think that the business community in this state is negligent, actually, in actually fighting for itself. Did I say actually twice? I did. The risks of ad lib television. But the thing here is that the Chamber of Commerce, which goes through the motions and does all its perfunctory work, is really one of the only voices that the business community has. The big business community that survives and actually thrives despite Rhode Island really doesn't do much. I mean, behind the scenes they do plenty, but they really don't do much. And the middle level and smaller businesses in the state are really very underrepresented at the State House. So Mattiello makes a good point. He was on with me the other day, though, talking about the idea that he had limited time to try to get economic reform through so that we could increase our economy and business environment and reputation. Here's some of what he had to say.
I've got another 70, 80, whatever number of days left. We're not going to be able to tackle all the big issues. We're going to concentrate on jobs and the economy. That comes first and foremost. I've got a tax structure that I have to look at. I've got a regulatory problem that I have to look at. I've got a budget that I've got to wrap my arms around, and we've got to do that by June. So,
you know, I understand that, are we back to me? I think we're back to me. There we are. I understand that he feels that kind of pressure, but I will reiterate one more time. It's one thing to tell the business community that they have to compete with the special interests on Smith Hill and get involved in the game, no doubt. But what this speaker continually seems to ignore and not understand is that no matter what he thinks he's going to pull off for the next 60 days now, that was March 31st that he was on this broadcast, 50, 60 days, if he doesn't clean up the reputation, I sound like a broken record. If you watch the show or listen on the radio on WPR from noon to 3, it's like a broken record. But you know what? If it's true, you got to say it over and over and over again. Unless he cleans up the reputational issues that Rhode Island has right now, no cute law, no tax incentive, no break, no environmental business, big time, you know, zone of improvement type of thing is going to do anything for us. Nothing. We have a pewy reputation right now nationally when we have raids and other problems. He doesn't get it. I hope he does someday. Next item. Yeah, this is kind of interesting. So a couple of nights ago, we had a couple of guests on to talk about this. Here's the headline in the Journal from a meeting last night. Parents oppose move to a West End school. This is about pre-K, where the Varton Elementary School on the east side is losing its base to the west side. And now all the schools, all four of them that do pre-K, will be on the west side. And the superintendent looked very smart last night explaining it all on Eyewitness News.
We do have an increased demand for pre-K, so we wanted to be able to open an additional classroom somewhere in the district. Having the classrooms at Messer allowed us not only to have the 3, but also to open a 4th.
They put a map up, and they're going by data that the district is saying is true, but as parents, we also see the zip code data, and we see that there's children they're not counting.
See, there's a policy argument there that gets into the nitty-gritty, and I'll leave it to those parents to do what they need to do to argue the policy argument. But it's about process, too. And the parents that we had here the other night said it very well, and this is just wrong. Making these decisions with this little input is just bad government.
I was informed by text message, no less, that my 3-year-old son is going to be moved to a school about an hour bus ride away for a special needs program.
There's been no paperwork that was sent home. Just basically word of mouth is the reason why we even know that this is even going on. Now we're not even really being included. It's just, this is the decision that we're making, and you just have to accept it.
So they got a 3-pronged attack that they got to use here. They're going to have to petition the State Department of Education. They might have to get a lawyer and try to get some kind of stop order from a judge. And maybe better yet, they got to go find Angel DeVeris, the mayor, who's been touting universal pre-K in his gubernatorial run, find him on a campaign stop and raise holy heck. I think number 3 might be more effective. Our last item, or almost last item, the fibbing president with a question mark? Yes, this is what Fox News came up with in a poll. Have you seen this? Under the storyline, the L word, voters call Obama a liar. It feels disrespectful until you see that 1,200 registered voters across the country responded to this question this way. Here's the graphic. How often does the president lie? 37% said most of the time, 24% said some of the time, and 20% said, oh, only now and then. Ooh, That is not good. That's not good. But here's what I say about this. I think we need a foundational question. Ask that about all politicians before you start picking on the president. And then at least you'll get a little bit of foundational understanding about it. You know, this IRS scandal and Obamacare and how it was all rolled out probably have an impact on those numbers. But I don't think he's that far out on the lying board. I don't think. And finally, it is Holy Thursday. Headlines, the significance of it. Good read in the Catholic News Agency. Of course, Holy Thursday commemorates what now? What now? Yes, the Last Supper. And one of the special parts of services and masses on Holy Thursday is the washing of the feet, which is what Jesus did with his apostles. If you're watching this show at 7:30, you probably missed service or mass. If you're DVRing, maybe you went. If you saw it at 11:30, maybe you went. But if you've never gone and you're a practicing Christian or Catholic, you should take in Holy Thursday and Good Friday. They make Easter much more profound. They really do. And it gives you a little bit more grounding as to what the core of your Christianity is. For Catholics, certainly, it's the Eucharist. And for many Christians, it is at least commemorating the Last Supper. It's at the core. And it's a good way to experience the joy of Easter Sunday, which is coming up in the third day, right? When we come back, speaking of joy, tell me when you've ever been to McCoy and didn't have a great time, even if they lost, which these days is not that often. Stay with us. All right, for you Sox fans out there, a couple days. What's today's date? Today's the 17th. In a week or so, you can take a look at these babies. Of course, my fingers are crossed because I'm a Yankee fan.
That's what I heard.
And everybody knows that. But just one of the events that's coming up at McCoy, early on in the spring. The boss of the PawSox needs no introduction, but we shall. Mr. President, good to see you.
Dan, good to see you.
Mike Tamburro is our guest, and thank God it's this time of year. Was that like the worst wait for a spring that we've ever had?
And is spring here yet? We got snow yesterday morning.
Yeah,
My God.
I know. What did you think when you had it all snow covered? I mean, you had the tarp on, I'm guessing.
I'm going to tell you something. I was scared to death. There was a 9-inch ice pad 3 weeks before opening day from the pitcher's mound back to the plate. And it took 4 guys with hose back-breaking ice, throwing it in a wheelbarrow
You don't have
and
high-tech
wheeling it
equipment
off.
for that kind of stuff?
That is high-tech. That's about as high-tech as we get, Dan.
And in fact, as we are recording the show, wink, wink, we do this in the late afternoon, even though you see it at 7:30 and 11:30. The team's playing as we speak.
We are. We're 1-1 in the 10th last time I checked.
1-1 in the 10th.
In the 10th.
47 degrees outside.
Game 1.
1 of 2.
Doubleheader.
Oy. Tell me about that. Tell me about the scheduling challenges. You always, in the early part of the year, and actually through the course of the year, there are a lot of chances for daytime, weekday visits to McCoy, but early in the year that happens a lot. Obviously, too cold to play at night. That's got to be part of the thing, right?
That's absolutely. I mean, you try, this time of year, you try and play the games because you know the conditions are going to be a fight. So day games, we probably play, I would guess we play two day games, a homestand, until probably the middle of May. But I think we may even play a game at the end of May in the afternoon during the week. In fact, if I can give it a plug it's
away.
School vacation week, and next Thursday is an afternoon game at noon. And if the kids are driving Mom crazy, we're going to let Mom in for free next Thursday.
Does there have to be proof that they're driving Mom crazy, or just all moms get in free?
They all get in free.
Yeah, I mean that'd be a heck of a conversation at the gate. All right, you treat your mom well. You're not stressed. You're charged. Tell me what it's like to run this business model. I'm always intrigued. Hot summer night. You can hardly find an empty seat in the place. The berm is full.
Right.
But when you have obviously the pro forma factors in weather, but how much does the business fluctuate based on Mother Nature?
Mother Nature is your God, absolute God. I mean, she's even your God. In the summertime, when the weathermen are calling for thunderstorms. That'll take 20% right off the top.
You must go crazy.
Absolutely. And then it
How do
turns
you
out
and
to
Tony
be
Petrarca
gorgeous.
get along, by the way?
I love Tony. He's a good
Who's
man.
better than him?
Today.
But
Today.
no, well, I talk about that all the time, even in the winter when businesses close shop because we're predicting snow that doesn't come. Weather is a big thing for radio and television. We make a lot of money in giving the information. Reportedly, everybody's really interested, but we also can kill the economy in one fell swoop, can't we?
Well, what's tough about this business is if you average 5 rainouts a year, every 12 years, you lose an entire season.
Wow.
70 games. 70 games get rained out in 12 years. So that's how disciplined you've got to run this business to be successful. And we've been at it a while, and the good Lord has smiled on us.
Every year, you seem to have something to celebrate, whether it be a championship or just a successful P&L, seems to me. I mean, this has been a profitable franchise for a long time, correct?
It's numbers. I mean, our ticket prices are still between $5 and $12. 12 is the high. $5 for kids. I'm not sure where you can go any place today for $5. And if mom and dad are coming, they're $8 for a GA ticket. It's all about numbers, about making sure we take care of these fans in a safe, clean environment at the lowest possible price.
Yeah, well, listen, the formula has worked for so long. We'll talk about the team a little bit and some other stuff with Mike. The season's on the way, and the second game of the doubleheader is too. Man, your hands must hurt when you hit 40 degrees. Ouch! Wow. Be right back. Nothing like it, and you stretch a couple extra times when it's 45 or 50 degrees. But you know what? Bingo, bango, we're going to get 60 this weekend, and we'll be off and running, and McCoy will be abuzz. I don't think it can be emphasized enough what kind of a beautiful spot that is. And later, by the way, Mike and I are going to have another conversation that you'll see down the line in our broadcast schedule. We'll talk about the history of McCoy a little bit and the like, but. There's not a better place that makes you feel big time and cozy at the same time than that stadium and the product that's on the field.
You're right on top of the players, and I don't think you get that in most stadiums because the second-story stadium gives you a vantage point that's unlike most ball clubs. Now that's because the mayor at the time wanted a dog track there, but that's our little secret.
Right. Well, actually, facility-wise, I mean, I've heard this more than once, that, the guys that come down for a little rehab in Pawtucket say, this looks a little better than what we got.
Before Boston spent all their money in the clubhouses, right. Mo Vaughn said, I want to dress in Pawtucket and play in Boston.
Yeah. And I think anybody that, all due respect to the big franchise, that goes up to Fenway for a family day
right.
and is out $100, a couple $100, right. And that's easily spent. Then the next weekend or the next month decides to go to McCoy, says to themselves, what's wrong or right with this picture?
Exactly.
Right? And that's where you've been thriving.
Family of 4 for $30 can go home with change. Tickets, concessions, everything. And again, what we've tried to do with the economy being as tough as it's been is create value nights at the stadium. Dollar menu Monday, hot dogs, popcorn, potato chips.
What do you got coming up? We got
Cracker
something coming up
Jacks
on the 19th, 2 nights from now. What do we have? There you go. You got the PawSox candy hunt, obviously the Easter theme.
In between games of the doubleheader, yeah, we're gonna have a ton of candy on the field and let the kids loose. It's great fun and it's great to watch. But that's what it's all about. It's hometown values. It's doing it the old-fashioned way, Dan.
Do wins and losses matter?
Wins and losses are important from a development point of view. We've won the last 3 years, so I want to tell you, when you win a championship, it feels pretty darn good. But over the history of the franchise, it's all about family entertainment. Family entertainment is more important than wins and losses.
Big championship 2 years ago. Yes.
We've been in the last game of the season 2 years in a row. We won it all 2 years ago. We lost it last year, and we got a club that has the chance to get us back there one more time.
Does that matter to you when you're looking at, do you play around with the Sox at all in terms of the roster? Do you have input as to who stays, who goes?
No input. We talk to the Red Sox, but again, needs are what dictate what player is going to get called up.
For them.
For them.
And then you just have to, you like the P. Bruins, same kind of environment. You have to take the roster that's delivered to you.
That's it. Kevin Bowles, our manager, he'll get a phone call today, 3 o'clock, and he'll have to adjust that starting lineup and make it work.
Maybe that makes the AAA level manager job as tough or tougher than the big show.
I think it's the toughest job there is in this industry, because you got guys coming and going. You're basically always trying to soothe egos, especially guys coming down. You got to get those guys ready to play again, and you're telling great young kids that they have to take a step aside because we have a rehabber tonight, and it's not always an easy job, but it's a tough job.
Well, it's just a constant reminder. I mean, I say this all the time. Never for self-interest, only for the lifestyle evaluation of what happens here in the state and in the region. There's no better family night out. Mike, it just isn't. You just keep delivering, and you keep the economy of it manageable, and obviously that's your sell. But it's not easy, and I know it's a hard job, and so I think the community appreciates that this place has thrived the way it has. Really.
Well,
It's an asset, it's a jewel.
We really appreciate them. I appreciate those kind words, but we got to work every day to ensure that we don't let those fans down.
All right. Maybe work Mother Nature a little bit too.
Well, I wish I knew her.
You talk like you do.
Yeah.
Your state of mind when we come back. Stay with us. Real quick, a little bit over time. You know how to get in touch with us, 228-1886, or email me. And of course, last night we had a lady who said, I want a real address so I can send you a letter. Your state of mind, 25 Kettamore Boulevard, East Providence. We're sorry about that little glitch last night, and we're happy to have you for tomorrow night for our last show of the week. It's Good Friday. Remember, the most solemn day of the year in the Christian calendar. See you at 7:30. Bye.